Trauma rewires your immune system for overreaction. This is what I've seen over and over again with clients. It's what I experienced myself. If you have significant trauma, what it does is it changes your brain function, literally. It changes your nervous system. It causes your brain to start to perceive other things as potential threats. It dysregulates your limbic system and causes you start to go into survival mode, where you have a domination of certain neurotransmitters like norepinephrine, dopamine. You start to have this, an increase in adrenaline. You're in protective mode. And when you're in protective mode, that is not good for your body. That is not good for your body because it causes chronic release of inflammatory molecules like cytokines, prostaglandins, histamine, other things. And these inflammatory molecules are what are, in fact, causing symptoms that you're experiencing, whether it's anxiety, whether it's stomach cramping, whether it's muscle aches, whether it's eczema, whatever it is, it's caused by your own immune system. So the stress and the trauma will change the way your immune system reacts because it's now all of a sudden going to be on the lookout for other things that are threatening. Things like foods that could irritate you, things like mold, things like, emotions, circumstances, observations, things that could put pressure on you internally. And the reality is, when you have trauma and you have this long-standing trauma, you have to be able to address it, or you're going to end up seeing reminders of it everywhere around you. Subconsciously, you're going to be triggered into these symptoms you're going to experience. Take it from me. I got chronic illness that started when I was 20. I had autoimmune disease. I had stomach issues. I had reactions to literally everything. I had ups and downs, emotional issues, ADHD, PTSD in my 20s, depression, anxiety, all these things, right? But the reality was it all started way, way back when I had trauma when I was younger. And then my body was already dysregulated. And then I got on acne medication, right? Because probably I had emotional issues because I had acne and I had to fix it because my emotions were too much of me observing myself in the mirror, thinking everybody was judging me, right? So then I got on acne medication as a result of my own personal inner conflict. And within 4 years of being on acne medication, my body was wrecked. My liver, my gut, my good bacteria was all completely wrecked. Next thing you know, I'm sick at the age of 20 for 7, 8 years, right? But the reality was the trauma had to be healed for me to get well. And the trauma is what led for me to make the decision to get into this acne medication because I didn't feel good in my own skin. So I literally had to go ahead and seek something to make me feel better because my appearance was not what I wanted to be. So I led myself right to the medication, which went ahead and brought me right to the illness. And the reality was the trauma resurfaced. And as years went on, without addressing this trauma, I just got more and more and more and more reactive to everything. And the reality was until I actually reached for my higher power and changed my perspective about all these events, started to look at the future and look at this thing where I was going to help people one day and I was going to be this healer and all these things were going to work out. And all of a sudden it all made sense in my mind. I could see it and I could feel it and I could taste it. I could touch it almost. And it just felt so real. It felt so good. At that moment, the trauma disappeared when I saw this thing, And then all of a sudden I started seeking this thing, going after it, right? And as I went after it more and more, the trauma started to reduce, just the triggers from observing things, and eventually I was able to overcome it. But the reality is you can't overcome your immune condition, your chronic illness, your chronic symptoms, unless you really do address the past trauma. I was able to get right with my dad. I was able to be okay, realize that, hey, sometimes people leave their kids when they're young. It doesn't mean they're a bad person. Things happen. Relationships fall apart. I was able to go ahead and come to grips with my own self and my own purpose. And I was able to go ahead and be proud of myself in areas where I would have felt ashamed prior. So I was able to shift the narrative in my mind and start to use the trauma to define me and as something like a test, a challenge I overcame. Something gave me internal credibility, and I flipped it around in my mind and overcame the trauma and was able to let go of it. And then eventually, guess what? The remaining symptoms were able to disappear within months after that. Now I felt safe in my own mind. I felt safe in my reality. I felt safe in my own thoughts, because I wasn't being chased by these thoughts or I wasn't observing things in my life that reminded me of my past trauma. So if you're dealing with past trauma, you have to address it. Otherwise, your immune system will be chronically activated. It will eventually lead to some type of chronic health issue. And just don't wait until it's too late. If you aren't dealing with something right now, then don't wait. You got to go straight at the trauma. It's not through talk therapy. You need to release it through different things like, breathing, yoga, meditation, trauma release exercises, touch therapy, journaling, restructuring the narrative, the things that really nobody's talking about out there. So if you have any questions, reach out to me. My website is endsickness.org. I got hundreds of articles, hundreds of videos on there teaching you how to heal yourself. Take care.